This is Marketing Uncomplicated. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Today's guest is Chris Seminatore, the founder of geofencing.com, and we're going to dig into all of that. A true pioneer in location-based digital marketing, which is such a good way to get in touch with your target audience. So we'll dive into a lot of that because people miss out on really what geofencing is all about. Over the past 7 years, Chris has helped over 350 businesses across the US and Mexico and harnesses the power of geofencing, reaching customers not just based on where they are, but where they're going and where they've been. From funeral homes and plasma donation centers to political campaigns and real estate firms, Chris has built a 7-figure agency working in industries most marketers wouldn't touch. And he did it all without a dime of outstanding funding. I love this. Starting from scratch. This is so powerful. Just results, referrals, and a lesser focus on meeting customers where they are, both literally and strategically. Whether you're curious about what happens when someone leaves your competitor's store or want to know how to build a thriving agency of pure word of mouth, this episode is for you guys. So we're going to start. So welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, thank you so much, Sasha. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's a real pleasure to meet you as well. And I really love what you're doing. Like I said before, I watched your podcast yesterday with Allison, I think her name was, and she was a CMO and a ballerina. It was interesting. What I hope to do with this podcast is make it interesting.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot to talk about. And there is an interesting background with you. So I'm excited to dive in. So let's just roll with this question. For those of you who don't know you, of course, who is listening in, how would you describe what you actually do?
Okay, what we do is we use location as our curriculum for marketing. They say that where people go is their strongest buying intent. Like somebody's on a car dealership, they're there to buy a car. If somebody's in a restaurant, they're there to eat. And what we do is we use that physical location and we build an audience from those physical locations. Now, once we have that, our advertising is a lot more effective because people already have a predisposition toward whatever product or service that we're representing.
Excellent. Now, geofencing is not something that is new, but obviously is something that keeps getting better year over year. So I do want to put a pin on that and talk about, really the build out of geofencing that first started through, Facebook, and then there was a spawn of a multitude of different companies that could help and all of that. But before we dive into that, I just want to take a step back and talk about your story a little. So you went from studying medicine to LA commercial production to Navy tours in the Desert Storm and eventually to launching a 7-figure marketing agency. What was the through line here? And what flipped the switch for you to actually get into digital marketing and why?
Well, I tell you what, marketing and advertising fascinate me because, influencing people and things of that nature through images, through headlines, through, visuals, that's just fascinating to be able to introduce something new to somebody that maybe they didn't know about before and maybe, increase their life, increase their happiness, things like that.
Yeah.
Relevant advertising, that really appealed to me. And that's basically what geofencing specializes in, is very relevant advertising.
Yeah.
Like I said before, if somebody's going to a car lot, they're probably pretty predisposed to buy a car.
Yeah, it's like hitting them at the right time where their emotions are like high.
Absolutely. And I think the average is people go to 3 different car lots. If they're on a competitor car lot, you catch them with an ad, show them a special that they maybe was not aware of before.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to have a customer that's in a ready to buy position.
Yeah, wow,
That's what we
so
look to do.
interesting. I went to one car lot and I was done.
Yeah.
And nowadays they have people that can actually go and negotiate for you and deliver the car. And I was like, maybe that's what I'm going to do the next time around.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So before obviously we get into the details, because it's very exciting about, the geofencing and how it works and, who it's for and so on. But you've launched 8 companies, you've exited one, and you've raised over 1 million for Guardian Cam. What was the one lesson that stuck with you from all of that?
The one lesson that sticks is don't strive for perfection. Just strive to get it done as much as you can. Do your best. And that's one of the dictums that I live by is, do your best at everything that you do. And don't worry about perfection because you're never going to achieve it.
Yeah.
And just keep moving forward. And that's what we did with Guardian Cam. Guardian Cam, we started that down in Newport Beach. And basically what we did this was back when frames per second on the internet was like 12 to 15, frames per second. So
Yeah.
people were walking like robots and stuff like that. We took video-based cameras and put them inside a daycare center so parents could tap in on the internet and see their kids during the day
Yeah.
while they were at work and whatnot. And that led to a lot of really cool stuff. Like a grandfather got to see his grandson one last time on his dying bed and all this stuff. And
Oh,
it was just a bunch of really cool stories. And then we got funded by Sandlab Ventures. And then because of technology, the company didn't make it through the next technological spur,
push.
or I guess
Yeah.
what you would call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very, very interesting. Well, let's then dive in a little bit, to the tactical piece of all of this. So, geofencing 101 for our listeners. Let's break it down. What exactly is the geofencing and how does it work in real life?
Okay. What geofencing does is uses location as its curriculum to collect an audience. If people are going to a certain location, they have a certain, whether it be a trade show, a concert, a car dealership, things like that, they're going to have certain commonalities
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
And those are strong because, they're physically going to these places. So what geofencing does is it puts a digital parameter around physical locations, like physical addresses. The technology is accurate within about 13 inches now.
Yeah.
And then once they get there, they collect the location reader off the cell phone. Once they have that information, they can start serving ads across websites and apps programmatically.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by programmatically is whenever you bring up a website or an app, there's about a 100 millisecond delay. And in that 100 millisecond delay, we have algorithms that bid on the available advertising inventory of that website or app. That's how we get the ads in front of people at these targeted locations.
Yeah. Now, the digital parameter that you talk about, how is that done? I mean, is it through satellite? Like, how does that even work?
It uses a couple of different factors like RFID, through satellite, through Wi-Fi networks, things like that. It's the same backbone that Uber uses, and
Yes.
the same government and the police use as well. I'm
In
on
terms
the
of like with Uber when you get in and out of the car, right?
right. That's
Yeah.
how Uber knows where you're at, is through the location reader on your
Yeah.
cell
I
phone.
mean, Uber's gotten so much into my head that when I go grocery shopping, I just take my bags and I start walking out,
Oh,
It's the concept of like, I've paid for this already. It's like not everything in life is set up that way.
man, I love Uber.
Yeah. Mhm.
So- but it uses the same backbone. I'm on a simplified platform. It's a $1.9 billion platform. It's owned by BlackRock.
Mhm.
So it's the latest in cutting edge technology. Because of my background in military intelligence, I really lifted the hood on the technology and looked at a lot of different providers. And this is by far the best provider that there is,
Got it. Got
just
it.
hands
That's
down.
amazing. Amazing. What's the name of the company?
Simplify?
Simplify. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I have come across that as well. What do you, in your opinion, because I think like music festivals, maybe like coffee stores, like a Starbucks, like political campaigns, like funeral homes, like so. Well, maybe not funeral home. Let's not start marketing to those guys, but in the sense of larger crowds entering into a place you're talking about have a commonality in terms of why they're there, so it's really hyper targeting versus
It is.
you're doing your hyper targeting on like Facebook and Instagram and you've categorized who your target is,
Right.
but you keep going back to this to the relevance marketing of being
Absolutely.
in the right frame and the right mindset to be able to make a purchase. So let's connect that because I think it's really important, and I think a lot of people, because they don't know enough about it, are like, well, I'll just spend a couple $100 on Facebook and see what I get, when
Right.
in actuality it doesn't move the needle much for them.
Right. Absolutely. There's so many different applications for the technology. Like say there's a trade show and you want to have your brand familiar with the people that attend that trade show. The best thing to do is to geofence that trade show. And
Yeah.
then when we do an event like that, we can send ads for the next 30 days of the people that attended that event.
You can set that threshold, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then after 30 days, we have to let them go because of privacy laws. I
Yes.
don't really
Yes.
understand why, but that's what we got to do.
Yes. Yes.
But like a geofence on like say like a let's just use funeral services for one. People in like a hospice situation or something like that, they're looking for answers. I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
So if they're
Yeah.
going to these different locations that deal with pre-burial needs and things like that,
Yeah.
then it can help them. It can give them information that they may need because they've probably never encountered this situation before.
Yes, you are right. I mean, like,
Mhm.
let us talk a little bit about like the moment you realized there was real money sort of in the unsexy industries, specifically like as it relates to catching people in the moment of time,
Right.
like a funeral home, because these are really overlooked verticals that tend to really outperform like many other campaigns.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, different unsexy industries, everything from political campaigns to, what it is getting your branding, your image, your messaging in front of a very targeted audience, and
Yeah.
then, that can be used in so many different applications. I mean, you want to hear a weird story, man? You
Yeah, I
know,
do. I do.
okay. We had this guy that represented human traffickers, and it was just
Yeah.
strange all the way around. He was an attorney,
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah, I was about to ask. I was like, what are you saying represented human
yeah,
trafficking?
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you told me what he did. And that was a tough one
Yeah.
to come up with an ad for. I tell you, it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we geofenced this truck stop that was way out in the middle of nowhere. I think it was like near Shamrock, Texas, or something like that.
Yeah.
And his offices were in Houston somewhere.
Yeah.
And then we saw all these people go from this truck stop over to his offices. And that's another thing that we can do with geofencing. We can set up a conversion zone around a client's location,
Yeah.
and then we can track when people that were receiving ads physically go to that client's location.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is
And
the
so,
direct correlation to how the ad's performing, which
yeah,
is amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not other technologies really offer that, so
Yeah.
it gives you a very precise ROI. But getting back to the attorney, the guy creeped me out a little bit. I'm not going to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really know what he was
Sure.
doing.
Yeah.
He was there for about 6 months, and then he just filled up. He had all the business that he could handle. And
Wow.
I don't know how he knew about that truck stop. I don't know why people were going from that truck stop to his office.
Wow.
It was just one of those strange things. I just look at it, I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
And the positioning of his office that close to the truck stop is super interesting.
It was a long ways away. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I'd say it probably about 100, 150 miles away. And
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So it was kind of strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So now tell us a little bit about, data collection, because I remember working with a particular client that was more in the banking industry, and they wanted to basically backtrack from a location, right? So sometimes I think, and talk to us a little bit about this, of actually pulling data from like previous geofencings that could have potentially been in that location. So let's say X festival occurred, last year, right? So we'll talk about, a big festival that happens out in California every year. Is there an opportunity for people to be able to get data from the previous year so that they can create lookalikes, with the campaigns as they're moving forward from older geofencing data? Can that be leveraged?
Um, Let me think about it. Okay. First, are you talking about Coachella as far as the festival goes?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What they can do on a situation like that, just taking this, specific situation, is that we
Yeah.
can get where the cell phones came from.
Yes.
Like, say a lot of them came from New York, a lot of them came from New Jersey, a lot of them came from Georgia, and all to attend this festival. And
Yes.
with that information or that data, now we can kind of let that guide our marketing efforts toward those specific areas.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of people came from San Francisco down to Coachella. So
Yeah.
let's do some heavy marketing efforts up in San Francisco,
Yeah.
things like that. So that's kind of the way that the location data could benefit or guide future marketing efforts.
Yeah. So from like older data to be able to like
Yeah,
leverage. That's interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
data is king, man. Data is
Mhm,
king. It really
totally.
is.
Totally. And I love the fact that you were talking about like the whole connection between, getting somebody clicking on the ad to actually the conversion, because that's something new in geofencing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Conversion zones. We set them up all the time with all the accounts of people that have a brick and mortar
Yeah.
location, and then we can track. We can track where they came from, where they were picked up in the audience, and then the exact time and date. We can't tell you their name, but we can
Yes.
tell you the exact time and date. That they entered the conversion zone.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Who do you think is crushing it from enterprise companies that are running geofencing campaigns right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. Some of my favorite campaigns. One of them was ran by Burger King, and
Okay.
basically what they did was they geofenced different McDonald's. And so when people would they would catch people that went into McDonald's, and then they would give them a free Whopper or something like that.
Yeah,
So that was
that's amazing.
yeah, that was a perfect one.
So everyone's like running over to like Burger King.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and just a little bit of creativity. You got to know your audience.
Yeah.
And one thing I kind of want to talk about is that it really boils down to the product or service that you're offering. It
Yes.
really boils down to the fabric of the business that you're representing. And that's going to ultimately determine your results.
Yes. Yes, totally. I
Yeah.
mean, it's and talk to me then and take that just a step further about why somebody should be running this versus potentially running a Facebook ad.
Well, I mean, it really depends upon what your objectives are for your business. I mean, there's a lot of people on Facebook. Don't get me wrong, but not everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's
And
one
this isn't
thing.
just only for people who have brick and mortars, right?
Right, right, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of. I mean, it's just endless. Seriously, I think we ran 1,650 or 60 campaigns so far, and every one of them's been different. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's just the honest to God truth. Getting back to Facebook, when people see you on Facebook, they say that's Facebook. But when people see you on like FoxNews.com or CNN.com or NewYorkPost.com, things like that, there's a little bit of a different feel to it. There's a little bit more of a these guys are really out there. They're
Yeah.
not just on Facebook because kind of anybody can go on Facebook and put up an ad. We could do that in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest differences is that I always encourage all my clients to do all the marketing channels that you can. I mean,
Yeah.
do them all. Do Facebook, do us, do
You mean
whatever.
like tests, not like
Yeah,
just go out and do all of them all at once.
I say do all of them all at once
Yeah.
because there's a big synergistic effect with people.
Yeah.
When people become familiar with a brand or a product or a service,
I see
they're a
what
lot.
you're saying.
Yeah, they're a lot more apt to do business with them. And
So
a
in
lot of
terms
times,
of like building brand awareness?
absolutely,
Okay.
that's so underrated. I mean, it is so underrated. People like to do business with businesses that they're familiar with, that they've seen.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't even register that you're seeing an ad when you're like, reading a news article or something like that, but it's there. And it registers somewhere not directly in your consciousness, but maybe in your subconsciousness.
Totally.
Now, when you're walking by and you see a sign that you saw in the ad, now there's a certain affinity toward it, more of a familiarity. Oh, I see this. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it.
Yeah.
And so that kind of leads to more of an app to do business with. It's been my understanding.
Yeah. I mean, because what I think Nielsen still has the number of like it takes 7 times to see your brand before
7 touches.
somebody actually, 7 touches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a 7 touches. So like to your point, because it's like you're reading the news, you're subconsciously taking that ad in and then, then you get hit with it, whether it's through, either geofencing or retargeting or so on and so forth. So yeah, you're right. I mean, the playbook really should kind of hit all the multitude of points because it all works in sync with each other versus just, a one track lane.
Absolutely. That's why every campaign that we run a retargeting campaign on it as well. Just because when they go to the website and then they surf away from it and then they start seeing ads again, conversion rates for retargeting are like 4 to 5 times what an original
100%.
thing is. Yeah,
I completely
absolutely.
agree. And every campaign that I've ever run, the conversions happen with the retargeting.
Absolutely.
And I just noticed that with a smaller client, I mean, who was spending, let's say, like up to $5,000 just in the month, they had actually made more money in the previous month that they had spent $2,500 on the pure ad, and they had a couple of $100 running for retargeting. They made the same amount of sales than spending just $5,000 on a straight ad and not having retargeting involved.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Another thing that you want to really take into account is careful consideration of what type of message or feeling that the ad purveys. People don't really remember what they read or even what they see so much, but it's how they made them feel. Like when we're doing television commercials and everything like that, what we try to do is we try to capture the feeling of that the client wants to impart into possible clients. So that's a big thing that I think it's underestimated. And you got to really take your time with that. Like, what kind of message are you saying? Why is this important to these people? I mean, and always put the client first. Don't ever put your own needs first. That's a huge thing that we've
Yeah.
learned throughout the
Yeah.
years.
I think that that's really fascinating, and thank you for bringing that up, because I think like there's two sides to that. You can either really like beat a dead horse like to smithereens, in the sense of like you're trying to come up with this amazing like headline tagline and it just doesn't work, and lo and behold, all of us, even consumers, marketers, we've seen some wackadoo headlines on the highway on billboard ads. And this is similar to like, digital ads are similar to billboard in the sense of like you literally have 3 seconds to catch somebody's thought, right? And it's like
Absolutely.
you're all of a sudden going to be doing it with something where they're going like, what? I don't even understand what that meant, and how is that connected to that brand? I mean, sometimes like bad copy could be like a win because people are like really thinking about it the whole day. But I only think marketers do that, because that's what I find myself doing when I read a crazy highway billboard. But I mean, what has been some of the best headlines that you guys have run that have worked? You don't have to tell us the client, but like maybe the industry, and what has really worked and really converted folks.
Well, I tell you, I think backing up a little bit, I'm kind of a dork because we would go down, we'd be on our motorcycles and we'd go down Sunset Boulevard. And I get all excited at the beginning of the month because all the billboards would change.
Yeah.
So you got all these new billboards and be looking around like, wow, look at that one, look at that one.
Yeah.
Getting more back to the point of things that convert, you got to be careful. Like Chick-fil-A, their ads that misspell the word chicken and they got the cow spelling it. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Totally.
on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, you got a commercial like Apple. Man, they ran that commercial in 1984. Well, the name of the commercial was 1984. They ran it one time during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, at that time, Apple was a real underdog compared to IBM on making computers and whatnot. And with that one commercial, they were able to impart a feeling of like revolution, like this is coming,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now they've surpassed IBM as far as like manufacturer goes. I think, I'm not quite sure. They're a
Yeah.
big company now. We'll put it that way. But when they ran that commercial, they were a small company. They were an underdog by far. And so that kind of tells you the impact that advertising can have. That was a 30-second commercial it was ran during the Super Bowl, don't get me wrong, but it's
Yeah.
only been ran one time,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
changed the whole course of that company.
Totally.
Yeah,
Really
so I
did.
mean, I thought that was fascinating just to read it. You want to see a cool, I mean, go back on YouTube and watch that commercial in 1984 and notice how, I mean, at the very end, it tells you that it's Apple. You don't even know. You just see this like black and white, this dramatic, visual imagery going on. And then you can like feel the revolution that's happening and stuff like that. And then at the end, you find out it's Apple.
Yeah.
To pay all that money for that commercial and run it one time, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. I mean, they probably made their sales worth in years
Oh,
to come from now.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So those are some of my heroes as far as marketing goes. Is Apple. I like Chick-fil-A. They cracked me up.
Yeah.
Really, as far as like ads that we've done, none of them really come to mind. We do so many. I mean, there's a lot of ads we've done.
Yeah.
And every one of them, I mean, we've got an in-house design team and everything like that too. And we really, I mean, we take a lot of time. We put a lot of effort into it. We talk with the client about what they're wanting to convey, things of that nature. And that's included in our packages too.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah. That's
a lot of
great.
them have design teams that we work with. Other times they rely upon
Got
us.
it.
So,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah, one of the ones that stood out to me, and it wasn't a billboard or an ad. Actually, it was a tagline on the box, and I had gotten a delivery from Amazon, and as I was just about to throw the box away, and it says, "We're empty inside without you."
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, oh, at first I was like, Consumer Nation, you just want me to continue to buy all the time from you, Amazon, and then it's just like, and then it cracked me up, because I'm just like, oh, that's really cool, because it's like, come on, let's be real. Everyone's Amazon boxes that are coming because they come so fast, and it's like the excitement of the day, So I thought it was a really clever like a tagline on the outside of a box, it's like,
Man,
because you're
another thing.
emptying it, fill it up again.
Absolutely. Look
Yeah.
at Snapple. I mean, you crack open the a Snapple and there's an interesting fact on the lid. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, man, like
very
Lake
cool.
Tahoe is to the west of San Francisco. I was like, oh, yeah, that's
I
true.
know. It's great. Like that educational piece is wonderful. Some of the like the Yogi Bear teas I think do that as well. Like it's really cool. I think that there are placements for messages everywhere. But we digress. I want to get back onto the Facebook ads.
Okay.
And not necessarily talk about the death of Facebook ads, but in the sense of like where they're failing today because what we're seeing right now is what makes location based marketing outperform traditional social campaigns in this sense? And I know we talked about, well, it really depends what industry, it really depends on your audience. And I completely agree with that because not every ideal customer profile will resonate, or you may not need a particular channel. But I do think that there are some areas where Facebook and Meta ads are failing today. I was just about to call them Feta, but
But I like it. Well, another thing you got to, I've got a little bit of a conspiracy theory about this. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I'll just kind of
yeah,
give you some broad brushes there.
let's
A
geek
lot of
out on it.
people.
We're two marketers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Facebook, I think when a lot of stuff came out about how much they were influencing people and the dopamine releases and things like that, and a lot of their, I mean, they grew to be a huge company. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're the
Yeah.
biggest social network on the face of the planet by far. I think 3 billion people were part of Facebook or something like that. Something,
Yes, something like that. I
yeah,
mean, he'd really like captured a like big portion of the ocean.
he did, absolutely. And then when they started getting into the suppression of information and things like that, I think that uh, from from my small group of friends, they're not on Facebook as much as they used to be.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a little bit of a migration away from that due to, everybody's different personal beliefs or whatnot. And, I mean, it went through that. I think people are more hungry about information now, to be honest
Hmm.
with you.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
why they're kind of searching more, you know, asking questions to AI, things of that nature. Going looking for information, something that's more substantial where they learn something maybe or
Hmm.
something along that line instead of just doing the doom scrolling where you just go and
Yeah.
scroll. So
Yeah.
I think that might add to it as far as the demise goes. Um, and then plus it just hit a saturation point. I mean, it surpassed all the different saturation points. It just, got to a point where like I was on Facebook a couple of days ago and I saw like 10 ads like right in a row. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of ads. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely monetizing the traffic that they've generated. There's no jokes about that.
Yeah.
But I
How do
think
you
that it
feel
went.
about the sponsor line going away now from Instagram? Have you noticed that recently?
I haven't. I haven't been on Instagram in a long time.
Yeah.
The
When you
sponsor
remember
line.
when you were like when you're going through doom scroll
Hmm.
and like there's an ad within that placement, it usually says sponsored.
Oh wow,
And now it doesn't say that anymore. And I'm like, I don't follow this person. And then I click on it and I realize it's an ad.
man, that's sneaky.
Yeah. Owned by Facebook.
Look at Google with what they're doing now with the placements on different search terms and stuff like that. Before it used to be a sandbox. These are
Yeah.
sponsored ads, and now it's just kind of all kind of put together. They got a couple up top that are sponsored. They got a couple at the bottom that are sponsored.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So search, I think, search is another thing that's kind of I've seen a little bit of a decline as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't have the numbers handy to back me up, but I kind of feel that
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really think that there's an interesting concept and a case study for a lot of what geofencing could really leverage for
Hmm.
folks. And it's really, to your point, guiding like the clients and tapping into the mindset of how can we get creative in the sense of how this is going to work from click to conversion, and how does this really play out, right? And it really boils down to like what you keep going back to, and to the relevance,
Hmm.
marketing of like catching people in the right time, in the right place, in the right mindset, which I think is super important when it comes to advertising.
Absolutely. One of the things that we found that really works is that if you can ask a relevant question, put a little
Mm,
question mark, because then it kind of gets the person, if they glance at the ad and they see it, they're being asked a question, your brain is automatically going to take into account that question and search for an answer in your brain.
yes,
You know,
yes.
it could be something simple like looking to buy a car, or something like that, and a big old question mark, they're going to think, am I looking to buy a car? I mean, it's just almost like taking advantage of an automatic response, and human psyche is what it kind of is.
Yeah, and creating a connection, not just speaking at, but speaking
Absolutely.
with, I guess.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into some of the notion of like your plasma center playbook. I mean, you mentioned plasma centers as a niche you've cracked. Walk us through a little bit about what that playbook looks like, and how you identify the audience message, the conversion triggers, in a market that no one wants to touch, maybe.
Well, that's there's a little. Let me do the edited for television version on this one.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more cleaner than it is. Um, Basically, what the plasma collection was going after was low income, like college students, things like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
People that were definitely interested in making a couple $100.
Yeah.
And so we led with that, want to make $500, question mark, and then that turned into a lot of conversions, a lot of conversions. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we would be able to geofence. I'm just going to use I'm going to use college campuses for right now. But, geofencing college campuses where when you're in college, you're broke, and, that definitely identified a need, and it identified an appeal to the people that were being geofenced, essentially.
Yeah.
And it was a real, it's basically put that easy cash kind of thing out there for them.
Yeah.
And it blew up like gangbusters. It really
Yeah.
did.
I mean, I think it's better than like having one person do sperm donations and then finding out they have like 600 kids all over the US. At least they're doing something good here, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's
Plaza.
an interesting one, I think, because I mean, because even on the flip side, because you say you work with a lot of political, events and stuff like that, and you've helped a lot of political candidates like, win and support elections. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you're swaying behavior, you're influencing behavior, and like it's what you said at the beginning of our conversation, that there's a real interesting piece as to how marketing really kind of creates that tipping point. So I mean, talk to us a little bit about the success within the political candidate arena.
Absolutely. We're running a campaign right now for mayor of Detroit. I know that's elections coming up in November. And, the messaging that they're getting across, I think really appeals to the people of Detroit, because Detroit got really tore down, with all the different auto manufacturers leaving and like that, and left a lot of poor neighborhoods and whatnot. And the messaging that this candidate is running, I think you can tell by the click-through rates, it's resonating with the people. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what geofencing does is gives you the opportunity, like we did 4 different ad sets and all each contained different messaging. And you can tell from the ad sets which messaging is corresponding with the people, relating to the people, and which ad sets aren't performing as well. And so then what geofencing does is, by giving you that real-time feedback, you're able to go ahead and allocate resources toward the messaging that's working better than the ones that's not. And you can do the same thing with locations too. If you got a location that's working, then you can allocate resources toward that location that's working, and then get rid of the locations that aren't working.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of flexibility. And what you need to bring in data to be able to do that. So once you've got the data from those different campaigns, then you can real time make changes. And that's one of the things that is really cool about what we do, is that, I mean, we can go in and add a location in 2 minutes. We can subtract a location in 2 minutes. I mean,
Yeah. It's just a click of a
so
button.
it's a click of a button. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our guys are the ones that work on the campaigns, things like that. So, I mean, I shouldn't say our guys, me.
Yeah.
So, and basically, I get an email. Okay, to add the location. Boom, it's done. We're
Yeah.
very responsive, super responsive. I mean, we deeply appreciate our clients. We really do. And it seems like a lot of the digital industry, at least some of the experiences that I've had with like different SEO companies and things like that, there's not a great work ethic there.
And just clarify STO for the audience.
Search engine optimization, things like that.
Yeah.
There's not. It just. I don't know if it's maybe because I've got a military background or something like that, but I'm like, oh, I appreciate every client that we have. I truly do, and I learn from them. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And that's why what we take the extra step. We're very super responsive. Like you're getting an email back from us within 2 minutes after you send it.
Yeah.
And throughout, from my experiences with the industry, that's not the way other people do it. Put it that way.
N-
I'm not going to bag on anybody, but man, it is yeah. So
No,
we've got the work ethic.
I completely agree with you because, and this is one of the biggest reasons why, I started Uncomplicated was just so that we could support, folks from making the right decision and ensuring that, you know, because there's a lot of companies, and I'm sure you've gotten this from some of your clients, like, tell me why I'm going to benefit from you because I spent X amount just a
Mhm.
couple of months elsewhere and I made zero return and they promised me 10x, 20x, like
Mm.
what we're seeing so much now with like the penetration of AI and like the explosion of things getting louder and noisier. Let's call it what it is. There is a lot of snake oil in our industry, and there's a lot of people
Mhm.
price gouging.
Absolutely.
Small business owners who don't have the money.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. One of the cool things about us is there's a lot of transparency. Every Friday, people receive an optimization and analysis report that shows exactly, how each location is performing, the impressions that were distributed there, the clicks on the ads, the physical visits to their place where they came from.
Yeah.
And then they also have their own customer dashboard that they can log in 24/7 to see how their campaign's performing as well. And we're always trying to work toward. We also anybody that tells you how our campaign's going to work, they don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Man, I've had campaigns where I thought there's just no way in the world that this is going to work. This is, but I ran it and it went like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Other ones, meticulous detail paid to the ad, all this, beautiful, all this is beautiful, this is going to great, this is going to go through the no,
Yeah.
burn and crash and burn.
Yeah.
And nobody knows how a campaign is going to work, and we're very honest with our clients straight up. They ask me, well, what should I get? What's going to be my ROI? I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean,
That's great.
yeah, absolutely. Every campaign is different too. I mean, you can't base one campaign off another because usually there's different locations. That means there's different cultural influences in those locations. It's just weird, man. It drives me crazy
Yeah.
sometimes. It really
Yeah.
does because we get these big clients in, spending 10, 20 G's a month. And we're trying to do everything we can. And just for some reason, it's just not working. And, we try to figure it out. We do, changes on the fly. We change the creatives until finally we get to the point where now we're starting to see some fire. Now it's starting
Yeah.
to work,
Yeah.
But that's through constant adjustments and, just working on the campaign, trying to get the client the response rates that they're
They're
satisfied with.
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that transparency. And I think the key to any success is to be super transparent in terms of that versus like, locking yourself into an ROI when in all honesty, if it's a new client that you're onboarding on, like you don't really know how something is going to perform.
Mhm.
Which I think is really relevant and like and key because it's a marketing. I wouldn't necessarily say marketing is a risk, but it is a risk because you have to dip in to understand and you have to test and learn to really get to that content product market fit, which
That's a good
which
point.
leads me into a question in terms of how you guys are utilizing AI, whether it is you are or aren't, in terms of building out your creative content for your clients.
That's a good question. Sometimes we'll go to Chat GPT for ideas,
Yeah.
Other times clients got a pretty clear vision of what they want to do and say, and then
Yeah.
we just go straight from there. But I mean, we have used AI. We're getting more and more into using, like we got VO3 for video and things
Yeah.
like that, which is pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
All this stuff is amazing.
Oh man, the integration of VO3. I mean, you're talking about doing cinematic shoots. It's still quirky though. It doesn't work like you think it would. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of practice in trying to get the end result or the product that you're looking for out of VO3.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is pretty cool. you know.
Yeah.
Um, Back to the integration of AI, we use it sparingly when we're looking for ideas or things like that. And then we'll present them to the client and say, hey, do you like this? This is for clients that really don't have any idea what they want to do with an ad or a creative or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll give them a couple of different looks, a couple of different ideas that they may want to take into consideration.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I definitely think that, it's interesting because when I used to work for a larger media company, when AI was kind of dipping in like just a little bit, we had a huge design department, and we had this company that we signed up to, and it basically took one of our ads and it pumped out seven different other ads just based on the behavior and the algorithm of Facebook,
Yep.
and they were ugly. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. They weren't good
Yeah.
looking ads. And obviously, the design team were like, these are never going to work. And they actually outperformed the beautiful creative.
We did.
So it's interesting when you say that clients have a clear view and a clear vision. When they do kind of direct what they want the ad to look like, do you counter sometimes and say, well, let's do it like, obviously you're A/B testing up the wazoo, but tell me a little bit about that process, because
Man,
sometimes it can get a little scary when they get too involved in the creative.
absolutely, Sasha, and you hit it right on the head. We usually have a tendency to go with what the client wants. We figure
Yeah,
that they know their business, they know their industry,
yeah,
they know their vertical, and
yeah,
we have trust in that. We go with that. Um, yeah, so I mean that's we always with whatever the client wants is what we'll do,
yeah, yeah,
and then depending upon performance, then we may recommend, hey, this creative isn't really resonating with the audience that we're showing it to. Would you consider, a couple of different, looks, a couple of different looks to see if we can get a better response for
yeah,
your ad?
yeah,
But we always go every decision that we make is data driven now. I mean, we're like, if something working, that's what's so cool about ads because you're going to know almost instantly, well, within a week or two, whether an ad's working or not. Hey, you
yeah,
really will. This isn't like SEO where it takes 3-4 months before you finally, either see results or you don't see results, things like that. You're going to know if your campaign is working within the first couple of weeks.
yeah,
So that's another reason I like ads. Getting back to your question about the AI, AI is great for generating different ideas and different looks or ideas that you never had. It's smarter than me. I mean,
yeah.
by far. The bar is not too high, but I mean, I get mad sometimes. I'll go to answer an email and then I'll just go, "Oh, I wonder what ChatGPT would say about
Yeah,
this."
yeah.
And then it's way better than what I answered.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
I
like,
I
yeah,
love ChatGPT for things like that.
yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
sometimes if I get like an email where it's getting me heated, and then I'll get all my frustration out and I'll write the response, and then I'll throw it into ChatGPT. And there's this one woman who I'm reading now. It's Vanessa Van Edwards, and it's called Cues, like how to be more charismatic. So I'm like,
Gotcha.
write this like Vanessa Van Edwards would write it, and
Oh,
90% out of none, I typically get the response that I dream of. But, if I would have sent the disgruntled email, it wouldn't have worked. Right. So,
man, absolutely. What's that thing Abe Lincoln used to say when he get mad at somebody? He would write them a letter and then he'd fold it up, throw it away.
yeah, it works.
Absolutely.
It works. The power of release. Right.
It is. It is true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true.
Well, Chris, this has been a fabulous conversation. But, what
Oh,
we like
man.
to do before we have you, kind of jump out is like we love to just do like what I call like fireside finish, which is just a
Okay.
series of questions. And I want you to just answer whatever comes to your mind.
Gotcha.
So we'll start with the first one. What's a truth about marketing that most agencies get completely wrong?
The truth about marketing that most agencies get completely wrong is that a lot of the agencies that we see, we feel like they're doing their clients a favor. They act like they're doing their clients a favor. There's a certain arrogance involved with it. We don't subscribe to that at all.
Yeah.
We truly appreciate our clients. So I would say arrogance is one of the truths that I've seen with a
Mm,
lot of agencies.
I
You
love
know,
this
like
one.
yeah, you're your client. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing either. I mean, this is so.
Can we talk
And,
about how a lot of marketing's roles is also being some kind of a psychologist?
oh, absolutely, it's 100%, man. I mean, there's so much psychology behind marketing, and you got to really be empathetic and put yourself in the shoes of another to really understand the demographic that you're going after, the
Mm-hmm.
audience that you're going after,
Mm-hmm.
things of
But
that
even
nature.
even your clients, like working with your clients.
Absolutely. Our clients, I mean, like we work with everybody from, Smoothie King to Chevrolet, and
Yeah.
every one of them's got different, different kinds of feedback, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I mean, we take it all into account. I mean, we're working with Smoothie King right now, and they're down in Alabama, and it's way different than working with a Chevy dealer that's got 20 different things, and we're working with their design partner, we're working with this, we're working with that, and you're like,
Yeah.
good God, man.
Yeah, but I love that you talk about arrogance, because I
Yeah,
think it's know thyself,
yeah, beautiful.
either an entrepreneur or founder or somebody who's heading up that department and working, because
Yeah,
a lot of the times people are their own blocks.
absolutely.
Yeah. What's one myth about entrepreneurship or building business that you'd love to kill once and for all?
One myth about entrepreneurship or building a business. I would say, like I had stated before, you're never going to get it perfect. Just keep going, no matter grind, 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 grind. When I started up Get Geofencing, I would sit down on my desk and not know what I was going to do half the day, and
Yeah.
start writing blogs, start looking at this, start seeing where that takes you, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward. Don't worry about perfection, and do everything to the best of your ability, and that's just the honest to God truth.
I love that, and I wanted to add to something that we didn't raise, which was, that you've grown your as a marketer, you've grown your company to 350 clients with no cold outreach.
Over
So,
1,600 clients.
okay, over
Yeah.
1,600 clients. And how do you build a pipeline purely on referrals? Because
Yeah.
I mean, talk to us about that, I mean, because I think that that's an amazing thing. I mean, you obviously have a good retention base, and you have a good kind of referral network within your own client base.
Well, I think forming a relationship with the clients, understanding their wants, their needs, what their objectives are, what they want to accomplish, things like that. I think it's kind of rare in our field, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really helped us out a lot, because as a business owner, I know what it's like when I go get different services done. Like, I'm just going to use SEO as an example, and I mean, they're not responsive. They don't, I know how I like to be treated,
Yeah.
and that's how we treat people. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah.
very
It's a
very
testament.
honest. Yeah, with everything that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been really fortunate in that regard. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
we don't do any pay per click or anything like that. We have a retargeting campaign. That's about
Yeah,
it.
from the outside sitting in, I would say that trust is one of the biggest forms of
Yeah,
your marketing. And once you have that established, people will either keep coming back, or they will definitely refer their other peers.
yeah, that's where we get most of our business, is that this guy's got a friend. Oh man, you got to talk to Chris, and then they come to us, and like, oh, you know them, and then there's that's already established. There's already a
Yeah.
familiarity.
Yeah,
So
that's
then
an
everything
amazing
is
thing.
just working in the best interest of the client, trying
Hmm.
to achieve the objectives, and make sure that those objectives are realistic as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
fantastic.
yeah,
If you had to start from scratch tomorrow, no network, no money, what's the first move you'd make?
with a marketing company or something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, marketing.
With a marketing company, I would
Or maybe
first.
if you have a dream of launching something outside of marketing.
We do.
Yeah.
Um, the first thing I would do is become very knowledgeable in my field,
Yeah.
study it, consume everything that I could get my hands on about it, make sure that I've got my passions aligned with that field. Um, and then it's not even like work. It's just like, it's like play,
Yeah.
I'm watching Seth Godin, YouTube videos, all the time. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because I'm really passionate about it. I like it. It's fun to me. I
Yeah.
get excited when we got to develop an ad set. I'm like, what's this going to look like?
Yeah.
So it's a real curiosity. And so to get back to your question, consume knowledge, be an expert in your field, know what you're doing, back it up, don't guess, and don't overpromise and underdeliver. All those kind of things. Just know.
Yeah.
Try. Be curious about your field, learn as much as you can about it through podcasts like this right here.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that. Well, what is next for you within what you're currently doing right now? Any projects or experiments you're secretly excited about and you kind of want to drop a hint?
Um, Next is what we eventually want to do is we want to evolve into a studio that makes commercials
Got
and
it. TV commercials.
television commercials. Yes,
Okay.
TV is still king. It really is.
Yes. Yes.
Um, And with the different technologies that are coming now, it's
Making
going
it
to
more cheaper, you mean? The
it's going to
availability of it?
really
Yeah.
cut production costs. I was in television production for a while, and those things cost a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of different factors go right
Yeah.
to be able to get the shot that you want to get. With this right now, with this the creation of this technology, especially with VO3, I know I mentioned it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can try 20 different things to get 20 different looks and see how that goes along. And then, so it's really given the creative reins to everybody,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think with that, you're going to see a deterioration of like different studios and things like that, and the cost associated with filming these commercials.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you're going to see a lot more creativity come forth because people are willing to take a lot more risk now. They don't have to, make a commercial in a cookie cutter pattern because they know it works and things like that.
Exactly.
Now, with the reduction of production cost, people I think are going to be a lot more apt to take advertising risk, which is always cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we want to move toward that direction. And then plus, just the creativity that's involved with that. I mean, if you can tailor a message that resonates with your audience, you can set brands and businesses apart from their competition real easily just with the image.
So much so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. This has been such an insightful conversation, Chris. One last question before I let you go. Somebody who wants to dip their toes into geofencing and doesn't have the means to hire a company like you, what would be your one advice to start? Dabble in Facebook, get an account on Simplify? How would they go about doing it?
You can't get an account on Simplify. Facebook, man, I'm just going to be dead honest with you, Sasha. I looked under the hood at like a lot of these other ones. I'm not going to mention the names.
Yes.
They're basically
agencies.
Yeah, they're ripping people off. That isn't geofencing. It's not effective.
Yeah.
They're basically just taking some kind of program and just putting it out there, and it's got nothing to do with the location that people were thinking about doing. So, the way I would respond to that would be stay away from it. Just stay away. It's not. You're not doing what you think you're doing, and they're not being honest.
Yeah.
So and you got to be really careful with this field, because people are when impressions go out, people are kind of trusting in you to make sure that okay, we're hitting this area right here at this thing. That's why we're so big on reporting. We have our customer dashboard, things like that, so people can see, and that's why we're so precise as well. And then plus, I mean, we're regulated by the FTC. Like I said before, Simplify is a $1.9 billion company. They're not going to risk that. These smaller companies, they don't have the same type of regulation on them. They don't necessarily have to do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would say steer clear. Our program started $850 for 100,000 impressions.
For management.
Is
that management or like the actual?
No, that's everything.
Okay.
That's everything. That's even ad creation too.
So it's ad creation, management, and spend.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, $850.
Yeah.
So if you're a small business that you want to, work in a small community, we love working with small businesses, man, because we can really make a difference on their business. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
And that's why we keep our price points low.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Chris, we're going to link everything below so that everyone can get in touch with you and ask, questions if needed, potentially start working with you and so on. But it's been really insightful. I love what you're doing. I love the passion. I love the honesty. It's super important in today's market, and especially as we get crazier with AI and all of the interesting things that are going to start coming out and the promises that are going to come out. So we appreciate you.
Right on, Sasha. This has been a real pleasure, man. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's a real pleasure meeting you. I think you're a class act, man. You're great at this too. You're really good.
I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you so much.